As a principal, when I was working, I was a part of the Road to Success and loved the energy that it brought encouraging students to read. And so when I was contacted by the Women Who Succeed Network and they asked me to join, and they told me the premise and who was behind it, I absolutely knew that this was going to be a program that was going to be long-lasting and successful, and the idea and promise of mentorship was one that I have always loved for young women. The one thing that I like best is the focus of encouraging people to be an advocate for themselves in the education sphere. I think it's important to have confidence, to know who you are, the culture you come from, and the belonging that you have in any organization that you're involved in. And so I think with Loveday Educational Consulting, encouraging parents to advocate for their children, and for children in Rise to advocate for themselves, is the one thing that I love about my company. The one thing that I do to keep falling in love with what I do is surrounding myself with people in the work. Diversity, equity, inclusion is not a one-time thing, and educating people about diversity, equity, inclusion is one that takes time for training and patience. And so when I listen to those that have come before me that have been doing this work for many years and gaining their wisdom, it keeps me positive, forward moving and thinking. And so I think it's key to always go back to those that came before me. Diversity and women is such a powerful thing in our community. There's so many wonderful insights that women provide and bring to the table at any corporation, any level. And it's just an amazing piece that I look at some boards and I think, oh, you're missing that female voice. You're missing that intuition that we naturally have. And women in general are just a fabulous force of nature. And I think it's the diversity of thought, our experiences, our livelihoods, and the way we live is just a creative energy. And I also often joke that sometimes we mother in the same language too. You know, watching refugees mother their children, and I don't understand a drop of their language, but I can tell when they're getting after them to clean up. And so diversity with women is something that each organization needs to have. It's just key to the operation and the successful growth of that organization. The characteristics that are essential for a female leader are compassion, flexibility, and the ability to just have a little fun. I think the third one is probably a little harder for me because I'm so methodical and I have to stop and have those moments of little conversations. But the compassion side of me is automatic. When someone comes to me and says, I have to leave early because I have to go pick up my child or I have to go to a class, I completely understand, because as long as the work is getting done, there's no time frame that it has to be done. You don't have to clock in at a certain time and clock out. And I think as a female leader, having that compassion is what brings in the engagement to the team. My personal values for me are what ground me. And so the things that I bring to the workplace every day is my faith and my hope. And Jesus is involved in that. And I think anyone that works with me knows that I'm going to pray for anything and everything all the time when I don't have the answer. It's what grounds me. It's how I start my day, and how I turn on the radio and I listen to K-Love, and it's what grounds me. Doing this work, you have to have a sense of wonder of there's something greater. And so some call it the universe and I call it God. And I keep that in everything I do and who I interact with. There is going to be a sense of love in everything that I do. The most important lesson that I have learned is document everything. And I learned that from my dad. As an administrator and a person in leadership, especially a Black female in leadership, there's times where you're going to have to go back to the receipts of everything so that you can follow up with who your character is and make sure that no one tries to shoot that down. And my dad taught me to document everything, and not that in a way of operating in mistrust, but just a way to know that you have been operating with the trust that people can count on you for. The one thing that I would love to share with the women and girls in Utah is to not sell yourself short, to believe in yourself and to know that what you're doing at this moment is what you need to be doing, and to not compare yourself to what other people are doing. Everyone has a purpose, and their purpose is perfect for that time.